Mr. Mitch, come on in.
Hello, Miss Golden. How are you?
I'm so well. How are you?
I'm good.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I am well. How are you doing?
I am great. I've had a really awesome week being able to go in and visit inside multiple classrooms and watch both the teachers and students just do their thing. It's been awesome to make some intentional time just to go and visit.
That's awesome. Can you share some of those highlights from your week that you've been talking about?
Yeah, absolutely can. So the first and obvious thing that I've noticed is the growth within our kiddos and across all grade levels. It's been really awesome just to see that learning growth and what is actually happening in the classrooms. Sometimes I get a little over my head in my office and get a little upset when I can't actually see the learning taking place. So it's been great to see that. It's been awesome to see the wealth of knowledge within our teachers and the amount of strategies that they know and have in their toolboxes, as well as being able to make connections between what teachers use certain strategies and tools, and being able to make connections between those teachers to help build potential like mentorships or partnerships amongst teachers.
Wow, that is awesome. That's awesome.
So why don't you tell me some celebrations you've had this week?
So one thing is that I'm really excited about for this week is we are starting my book club is starting a new book, and we have had we meet each week and discuss, and I'm really excited about starting that. It's going to be a good way to focus on self-care.
That's awesome. Can I just ask you a quick question? Is this book related to like schoolwork, or is this something just for your own enjoyment?
It's just for my own pleasure.
That's awesome. Well, that's so great to hear. I'm glad that you've discovered an outlet for just relaxation that works well for you. It's important for everyone to do, just to be able to turn off and tune off too. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive into your observation.
Absolutely.
Why don't you tell me some of your glows and grows from the lesson? Meaning, what do you think went well, and what do you think kind of went off course or not as planned?
Yeah, so first let's start with glows. I think that the lesson went well, and it had many glows. The majority of the students were engaged throughout the lesson and were using collaborative strategies with their table partners. Students were also using their science-based vocabulary in the correct context while providing evidence in the use of visuals with other students.
I love that. Can you explain to me what makes you say that, and like what evidence could you provide that supports that?
Yeah, so for examples, the students were provided with the opportunity to illustrate their findings first, and then provided the vocabulary words needed to label the drawing of a cricket. Then they were able to investigate with an actual cricket to help reinforce that vocabulary that was previously taught.
I did. I loved your intentional vocabulary strategies within your lesson. I could tell that that's not the first time that you've used those, and the kids definitely leaned into those to help dissect that vocabulary. And I also loved how you gave your students multiple ways of learning with adding like visuals and the conversation pieces, and even adding a little bit of student choice within how they completed those tasks was really nice to see. I really loved when you said we want to be participants, not just observers. And when you use your class cheers, you can definitely tell that you've used those throughout the year. And that's just not something you did just for your observation. It was a really awesome use of positive reinforcement, and it made it evident to see that your students respond to your positivity.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate your kind words, and I honestly love our class cheers. It's really cool because the students created those class cheers all by themselves.
See, and that's just the magic of teaching. Kudos to you. They certainly value you and your teaching. Can you think of something that did not go as well as you wanted during the lesson?
I think that I struggle with understanding the depth of how much my students are retaining during the lesson in general.
Okay, thank you for explaining that, and thank you for your vulnerability in saying that. Can you expand on this and help me understand what you mean by that?
Of course. So in my lessons, I feel as though the students have a surface level understanding of what I'm trying to get them to understand. However, I know that I could be activating a deeper level of understanding for most of the students. So I'm finding it difficult to know how to do that while continuing the actual teaching.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for trusting me with that. That's definitely a skill that a lot of teachers struggle with, because that's something that's definitely grows as you grow as a teacher. Have you thought of any ideas or brainstormed any type of strategies to incorporate into your lessons to help you gain this knowledge from your students?
I would love to design more ways to intentionally communicate with my students during the lesson, or given more time to listen to my students communicate with one another, so I can gain the information that is needed for me to actually assess them on a consistent basis.
I love this thought, and I love the intention you've put behind this thought. Have you considered implementing questioning and discussion techniques within your classroom?
Honestly, I've heard of those terms, but I don't fully understand how to use them or what my students are learning in regards to the content.
Okay, that's okay. This is how I can support you. So, question discussion techniques serve as a way for teachers to foster or create an environment that's engaging and interactive and promotes critical thinking, problem solving, and communication skills. And a lot of those I've already seen within your classroom, within the observation. So, this should be easy to build upon. And it can be as simple as adding intentional pre made questions to your lesson and your lesson plan for you to review, as well as me to review if needed. That can help students really focus on the why of why you're teaching.
This makes so much sense. I know that we as a staff are focusing on discovering the why behind what we're doing as adults in the building as far as learning and professional development. So it only seems natural for us to do that same thing for kids. I know this is an area of growth for my teaching style. Could you help me create a plan for improving this?
Absolutely. And thanks for noticing that this is what we're trying to work on in our building as well. Because, like you just said, it's just as important for adults to be able to do it too, because we should be the models for our kiddos. I think an awesome first step would be to being open to observing other teachers within our building who are really proficient in teaching and using question and discussion techniques. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, that would be great. I would love to see this done in practice and gain some models and examples of how to begin in my classroom.
Okay, exactly. It'd be very beneficial to form a mentorship with a person as you begin to implement some strategies into your own classroom with your own teaching style. What do you think, or what are your thoughts on continuing that mentorship throughout the school year?
That would be incredible. I would enjoy having the accountability piece, as well as a mentor that I can continue to collaborate with throughout the year. Are there any other steps I could take for the time being?
Okay, so let's review for just 1 second. Let's talk about like how we said you could do some observations. So that's a really good start too. And then we could look at adding mentorship to that. So after that step, would you be willing to attend maybe some professional development regarding questioning and discussion techniques?
Yes, that would give me exposure to the techniques and collaborate with other educators from other schools.
Awesome. That sounds really great. So I'll look into some professional development opportunities and send you some potential dates. We could potentially look at going into more than one, or going to more than one, and allowing your mentor or partner to attend with you.
Honestly, I would prefer that because of the consistency for myself and my mentor. It would be nice to always be on the same page for what we're doing and what we're learning.
You got it, Mr. Mitch. So let's just take a break and let's review what we've discussed here, because we've got a lot of great ideas, and let's make sure we're on the same page. So your glows from the observation were your use of engagement, like that awesome firecracker clap, multiple ways of learning with the visuals and discussion and writing techniques, and student choice. Your grows are within the area of questioning and discussion techniques. And to target this area, we've discussed implementing observations with some teachers already within the building, and a potential mentorship with those teachers in the building, and then potentially looking at professional development opportunities to help you implement further into your classroom.
Yep, that sounds exactly like what I need to improve upon. Thank you for supporting me and assisting me in my progression of learning. I'm very excited to get started.
That's awesome. I do have a question. Have you ever heard of the Kagan strategies?
I have, yeah.
Have you ever used any of those in your classroom?
No, not really. I haven't been trained on it though.
That's okay. Most people, whenever we think of question discussion techniques, we do think of those Kagan table talk type of things, or a stand-up pair up. I think that would be really awesome and beneficial for your classroom because you're such a socializing teacher and you have that positive energy. And it'd be awesome because you like to move around in your classroom too. So maybe that is a great place that we could start at for professional development purposes. And we could send a lot of people on your team to go as well. That way it's consistent within your team. What are your thoughts on that?
That would be fantastic. I would love that.
Yay. Okay. I'm really glad that you feel motivated and comfortable to do so. Let's plan to meet again in a few weeks as a check-in on your mentorship and your progression and those potential PD dates. We'll look at the Kagan strategies, and if we can't find anything open there, we'll look for something similar. Look out for an email from me for possible meeting times, and just let me know which works best for you, and I'll adjust to your schedule and your needs.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again, Ms. Golden. I'm glad that you've had a really good week, and I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation. You've made me feel really valued and appreciated. But she's also just given me a very new and insightful fire for bettering my craft as an educator. And I look very forward to talking to you again soon. And if there's nothing else, then have a good day.
Thank you so much. I do have one more thing for you, though. Whenever you get a chance, could you send me a link to that book that you're reading? I would love to investigate that a little bit more. I'd like to open my outlets as well too, and have as many as I can to help me get some self-care and some me time too.
Absolutely. I can do that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
have a
thanks.
good day, Mr. Meach. I'll see you soon.